mission accomplished. Not too many mangroves, got a few. Got them in there gutted in the well, and a well full of lobsters. Can't beat it. Come along, you'll want to watch this one.
Is it liquor?
Vodka.
Wake you up, get you going. What's in that thing?
That's
oh yeah.
We got the salt, baby. Gotta get those electrolytes rolling.
Oh my god, I'm tired. There's very few things in this world I wake up at 5 a.m. for. One of them happens to be lobster.
There's no lobsters around.
Yeah. Then why did I get up?
Because you're an idiot.
Yep. We're gonna see. Away we go.
Really?
All right. Boat's backing down. We're gonna be out there in a few minutes with hopefully some nice juicy lobsters and some nice juicy fish. See you there. All right, here's the deal. We're gonna anchor up. Mike and Sarah looking for lobsters. Jake and I are looking for fish. Dove here yesterday. We saw lots of lobsters and lots of fish, but we didn't have our spear gun with us. So we changed things up today and brought it with us. Here we go. Time to anchor up, baby. Let's get in the water.
Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. So today we'll be exploring the shallows a little bit and then heading out deeper a little bit later. First thing we do when we come up to a rock pile where we know that there's fish is just cruise the outskirts. Never really want to swim right over it, just want to be right along the edge. That way you have less of a chance of the fish bolting off into the sand and never coming back. Instead, they usually swim towards the rocks. As you can see here, Steven's on the outskirts dropping down on a mangrove snapper, and as it can sense a little bit of danger, it swims towards the rocks. And he's just tracking it real nice and slow here till he gets the shot that he wants. Fish turns broadside and he pulls the trigger. First fish to the box of the morning. And always be sure to brain and bleed. Definitely helps with that fish quality, makes the bloodlines a little bit smaller on these mangrove snappers, and really enhances that meat quality. Here I swim up on a school of mangroves that's chilling right along the bottom, and I got the one that I want in my sights. And while he was kind of running away the whole time, and that's not the greatest shot, you got to take whatever opportunity you get with these mangroves. They're definitely shifty little boogers. And if you don't have a knife to brain the fish, you can do it with the tip of your spear. So after swimming around and looking for mangroves for quite a bit, Steve noticed a few lobster hanging around. We had the snares with us too. The day before we had come to this spot and caught our limited lobster, which was our last beach dive video. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. But we saw that there was mangroves everywhere, so we brought the guns this morning too. Trying for a little lobster mangrove combo and started the morning off with exactly what we were looking for. You can see from this little flyby that there's a few more lobsters to be had in these rocks. You see 3 more lobsters in these rocks right here? Sunrise lobster mission, baby. Steve's got a lobster in his snare already, so it's my turn. So I pass him my gun to hold on to it while I go down and take a pass. And here I'm looking for the biggest lobster under this rock, and you can see that there's about 3 sitting under there. So I come up on this closest one, which also happened to be the biggest, get that snare around the end of his tail, cinch it tight. Lobster number 2. That's a good one.
Now what? We can't get any more. We got our hands full. We got our hands full.
Yo, hey, so Steven, let's swim back to the boat, let this calm down, we'll drop off the lobster, that way we can come get another one. And then we'll come right back. So after we got done in the shallows, we decided to punch it out a little bit deeper, out to that 30 to 40 foot range. And we came across a line of about 5 lobsters walking. And they got out of formation here and just went into a ball, which is still really cool to see. And it can be a bit overwhelming, but as Steve does here, just pick the biggest one and put that lasso to work.
Yeah, big old pod.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot. I think they went under this little wedge.
good. That's a big one.
Yeah.
In this day, the conditions were just unreal. The water was so clear. You could probably tell earlier in the shallows there was a little bit of film along that top edge of the water that usually occurs when the fresh water meets the salt water. But out here, it was just all salt water and crystal clear. Steve took a second drop to try and find his pets that were walking away from him. Finds the bigger out of the two and puts the leash back on him.
The next one's gonna be close.
Is there a couple more?
I only saw the 2 coming out again.
I feel like this is a good bottom if we all just swim this and more filter in, but what do you think?
It looks solid for sure.
So this was our first time exploring this section of the reef, and from the top there freediving, it looked pretty dang good. So we decided to strap on a few tanks and get down there closer to the bottom where we could do a little bit more exploring. Right away, we were greeted with some nice sized lobsters. Steven's getting the snare around the backside of this one. Not sure if Sarah wanted it a little bit more right there, or if she was just trying to help nudge him out. What a way to start though. Brand new spot and a nice chunky lobster first drop. Sarah had her eyes on that shell that she just put in the bag. Of course, we always make sure that there's not a living crab or organism in the shell first before taking it home. Working their way down the ledge, Sarah came up on another really nice lobster here. And what looked like it was going to be the simplest catch ever ended up taking the team on a little bit of a goose chase here. You can see she had it in her snare there, but sometimes those lobsters can just wiggle out. They have so much power, especially the bigger ones. If you're not pulling as tight as you can on that snare, they can get out, believe it or not. So here's where teamwork comes into play, and Steven saw a hole up on the top side of the ledge, so he's pointing to Sarah to go over there, and he's going to work the bottom side and try and push this lobster up and out to where she can get it from the top. Because as you can see, he's reaching that snare as far as he can go, and you would never be able to snare that thing from the bottom. But teamwork makes the dream work. So if you take a look at Sarah's hands here, you always want one hand holding the base of the knuckles. As that lobster kicks around, the antenna will never break as long as you're holding right at the base. So That lobster's trying to get away, but it's got no chance. So what Steven just did there is the best way to get somebody's attention while you're diving underwater. Clank or bang anything you can against, the top edge of your tank. It'll make a noise, and you can tell your dive buddy that you want their attention. So Steve saw 3 lobsters under this ledge, and, he didn't want to handle them all himself, so he called Sarah over to give an extra helping hand. Steven working the first one out, trying to get that snare behind its tail, gets it clear, and then moves out of the way for Sarah to jump in and get the next 2. Sadly for Steven, though, this lobster ended up being just a little bit short on the measurement. As you can see, the gauge falls off and hits the tail. So he tries to get it away from that ledge, and that thing kicks right back into it. But Sarah's working on the other 2 lobsters. She walks out one of the bigger ones and getting it set up to get that loop around the end of its tail. And you can see our snares are a little bit bent. We've used these quite a bit, so sometimes you got to flip over the snare. That way the bent side is curling towards the body. It makes it a little bit easier to catch. But this one knows that someone's trying to catch it, so it's trying to walk away, and Sarah's trying to be very gentle because she knows it's already a little bit skittish. Steve is right here hovering, and I'm sure it was taking every ounce of energy in his body not to catch this. But he did a good job letting Sarah get her lobster that she had worked so hard for. And it ended up being another really nice one to add to the morning's catch. Sarah was pretty excited about this one, had to show it to Steve.
Oh yeah.
If you've watched any of our other videos, you know that we prefer the snare while we're down there lobstering. And that's because it works as a good tickle stick as well, and you don't have to carry around a bulky net. And under tighter ledges like this, you can actually snare the lobsters underneath the rock without even having to tickle them all the way out, which will actually help you catch more lobster, because as you try and tickle them out of holes, they start to sense that they're being messed with, and that's when they start shooting off and getting uneasy. But when you snare them back in their home where they're comfortable, they never see it coming. So we love using snares, but both of those too short, so Steven letting them go to see another day. Sometimes you come across hidden treasure on the bottom. Somebody dropped their anchor, and this anchor was in great condition, so we weren't going to leave it down there. This anchor was coming back home. We'll repurpose this thing, use it maybe as a sandbar anchor. It's a little small, but hey, regardless, it's about cleaning up the ocean.
Yeah, it's just not like crazy, but we got a bag.
A lot of shorts, I feel like. Yeah. Some big ones in that bag. What else did you find, Sarah? Looks like you found another treasure. Wow, empty.
Shell.
Gotta have her shells.
Oh cow! All right.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see these big lobsters. They're massive. Some of them are massive.
Massive? That one's not.
Two.
That one is huge.
Look at this. And this.
Hold it up.
Jeez.
Like,
Holy cow. Those are big. Those are nice.
This one's
huge.
These guys are all crawling. Yeah, that is a stud. Some good ones. As we were weeding through shorts, we hit multiple spots this day, deep and shallow. And you're just seeing some of the highlights. Back out on a second deeper spot, and Sarah found another nice keeper under that big ledge. Some of these spots were really tall ledges, like this one here where Sarah's whole entire body is under. And with the tank, it makes it difficult to get up under there because the tank starts hitting the edge of the ledge, as you can see there with Sarah. But luckily it wasn't too deep, and she was able to pull out a monster here. And as I've mentioned before, you can use these snares as tickle sticks. Just cinch it down tight to where the loop is very small, and use it as a tickle stick to push that lobster that's under the ledge out the back entrance, open up the loop on the snare, and let the lobster walk right back into it. That right there was one of the most simple but effective lobster catches that you have probably ever seen on YouTube. Now, not everyone does, but it's definitely a best practice to measure lobsters underwater. So put the gauge right there between the horns, and as long as the back end doesn't fall off onto the tail, as you can see there, you're good to go, and the lobster's a keeper and ready to come home for a nice dinner, breakfast, snack, whatever you prefer. Down here in South Florida, you'll see a lot of debris on the bottom, including tires like this. There's multiple places in South Florida where there's just tire graveyards. They used to think that it was effective homes for fish, but now they realize it's not, and companies like 4Ocean and whatnot are out there helping to clean up. There's still a lot to go, but they're definitely making progress. And quite often, lobsters will come out to greet you once they sense your presence, and your best chance of catching them is right there when they come out before they slip back into their hole. So Steven putting the work on this one here with a perfect catch, and whoops, realizes that this lobster has eggs. So right here, he just said, nope, cannot keep it. He's gonna put it right back in her hole and let her go so that she can have babies for us to catch in the future. Add a scuba fin to the list of treasures found on this day. We were getting close to our limit on the day, but right before Steven came up, he spotted 2 more nice lobsters in a rock. So he's gonna try and use this snare as a tickle stick to pull these lobsters out to where he can cinch down the snare behind them. And these lobsters didn't really want to come out. They kept going a little bit deeper into the hole. So he's trying a different angle. Sarah was trying to see if there's a hole, a back hole entrance on that left side to push them out, but there wasn't. So Steven's just trying to get behind them so that they'll walk forward. It's the best way to get lobsters to come. And he starts getting this one to scoot forward, but not quite enough. And this lobster comes out and then finds another little baby hole where he can't fit the snare in behind it. So Steven eventually says, I'm gonna ditch the snare and just go old school on this sucker. And goes for the bare hand. And be sure when you do it, walk your hand up the knuckles like Steven did there, and make sure you grab the base of the knuckle. If you grab the tip or middle of the antenna, it'll rip off, the lobster will get away, and you'll leave a lobster out there with no antennas. That's not very nice. So make sure you grab the base of that knuckle, and you'll be sure to get them every single time. Last keeper of the day, and that's what you call a successful day, exploring new spots. It's not always easy, and you definitely don't always get your limit, but it sure is fun to go out and see new areas and find new dive spots to hit on future trips. Steve says, bigger the ledge, bigger the lobster, folks. How was it down there, Steve?
Big boys on this one.
Big one?
Yeah, like there's a 4 or 5 foot drop on this ledge, and they go way back in there.
I felt like I was deep.
Lobsters this big in them.
Damn.
My tank wouldn't let me go back further.
Yeah, I know. Be careful, you get yourself stuck in there if you try to go too far.
Woo! Let's go.
Is that it?
That's it.
The last one, that's a nice one too. That
That's
was
the
a
one.
barehander for sure.
Yes.
There's a couple on the deck. Wow, that's a stud right there.
This is
Both
the one I
of those.
wrecked
This
that
is
hole.
insane.
You guys are all just walking around. Good day.
Solid. Minus the boat sinking. Yeah, it's big.
Minus the boat sinking. Behind the scenes, no bilge pump, no live well pump. Everything shorted out on us. So it's time to go.
But not our limit.
Ha ha ha. Funny. Well, it was a little too dark this morning to give y'all a good intro. And we hate calling our shot. But the goal for today was mangroves and lobster. So we had our mind set on, we saw those mangroves diving off the beach yesterday, and Steve and I wanted to kill a few. And of course we wanted to get more lobsters. But mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
No knife, so we're just wringing these bad boys out. Take a nice little ball, give him a twist, and throw the head to Jake.
Then you gotta stick the pooper and put the boat on the trail.
Yeah, big operation here.
antenna. Poop chute. Stick it in there, cut that little pooper loose, pull them out the front end. Ready to go. Ooh, that one's full. Full of nice, delicious, whatever he was eating.
Oh.
Dookie.
Oh, this is full too. Look at it, it's coming out.
Oh yeah. Now, what you don't want to do is rip these in half and then throw the tail over, which I've done before. Very bad mistake.
Look at his tail.
Of the shooter. Damn, he used that whole antenna. It's perfect. Pull her out the back end.
Nice.
Perfect.
Got them all bagged up, nice and tight. Try and suck the air out of them in some freezer Ziploc baggies. 2 to a bag. Works for a great gift to anybody if you're not going to eat them all. You know, we try and eat them all, but you can't eat them all. So we like to spread the love too, you know, share them. Catch a lot, so we share a lot. But it's all part of the game. You know, lobster is one of those things that works as like currency. You could basically trade lobster for anything. You need something done to your house? Trade lobster for it. You need your car washed? Trade lobster for it. You need some money? Trade lobster for it.
A good one. Seriously.
No, seriously, it works as a currency. It's a great thing to have on deck because people that can't go lobstering all the time and aren't fortunate enough, they love having their lobster. So, if you need some, you know where to find it. We got a good one for you tonight, folks. We got some of those fresh Florida lobster tails, and we are going to whip up a vodka pasta with lobster, of course. What better way to start making the dish than to utilize our first ingredient? Uh-oh. Looks like we'll have to give it a quick little run. When making vodka sauce, you have to know what your flavors and ingredients actually taste like. So, what better way than to try it here ourselves? Although this is kind of diluting it, but to take it straight out of that, you have to be a psycho. Let's give this a little run though. Oh yeah, vodka sauce is on the menu, folks. Tune in. All right, so first things first, we are going to split these lobster tails right down the middle, and then we're gonna throw them onto the grill. You can cook lobster on the stove, you know, in a pan, however, but I just always prefer the grill. I don't know why, I just like the flavor. This is borderline impossible with one hand, so I'll get back to you guys in just a second. Filming solo tonight. All right, this big dog was not cutting. You know why? Look at that. It was about to molt. See this inside? It's got a second shell. I have to peel off that skin when I pluck this thing after I cook it. Otherwise, that'd be chewy. But you can see, look, it's already peeling off. Wow. Now that we got our lobster split, we're going with a little bit of that Lowry's garlic salt. Just a little light coating, you know, give it some flavor on the grill. Nothing better. Use it on everything. It is so good. To the grill we go. These tails are gonna go on there. We're gonna start them face down. They're gonna go 4 minutes. We're gonna flip them face up, 3 minutes. Done. Time to get them rolling. There we go. Perfect placement. What time do we got? 7:26. It is 7:31, just about. So right now we are at that 4 minute mark. Let's go ahead and give them a check. Whew. Oh yeah, those are absolutely perfect and ready to flip. Oh yeah, nice crisp there. We do not want to overcook these, otherwise they are impossible to get out of the shell and then they get chewy. So we're gonna run it here another 3 to 4 minutes. Check back with you when they're ready to pull off. While we wait for those to cook, we're gonna get our pasta water boiling. And we got the base of our vodka sauce prep. So we're gonna start off with some shallots and garlic, both minced. Render those down, get some good flavors going. Then we're gonna add in some butter. We're gonna add in some of the pasta water, some of the tomato paste, heavy cream, grated Parmesan, and last but not least, some high quality potato juice. Speaking of which, while we wait, let's do a little hydrate. About that time. Wow, those are looking good. Just perfect, not overdone. Absolutely perfect. Oh yeah, there we go. About to be some fire pasta here. Damn, speaking of that, I should have made it spicy. I like spicy. Didn't make it spicy. Should have. Next time. All right, now that we got these bad boys in here off the grill, we're gonna pull them out of the shell, chop them up. Not too fine because we want big chunks in this pasta, but we're gonna chop them up, make some big old chunks. We got that lobster chopped up into big old chunks. We got our shallots and garlic going. Next up, need to add some tomato paste. Let's see if I can get this set up. Tomato paste, here we go. We're gonna go about 7 ounces, stir it in, and we want it to turn that deep red color. After that, we're gonna stir in some of that vodka to deglaze, and then a little bit of the leftover pasta sauce. So let's get this going. We're on a medium heat. We're gonna tone it down a little bit though. I don't know, my stove goes up to 10 and I'm gonna go with a 4. Try and get this kind of broken down a little bit here. We're not sure, it says 3 tablespoons. That's a terrible decision. Maybe we're gonna eyeball it. We're just deglazing, so that's probably good. Now we're trying to soak in all the flavors and get them off the pan. We're gonna add in a little bit of that leftover pasta sauce here in a second. Really get some of these flavors going. Some salt and pepper after. Oh yeah, about to be good. So hard to do one-handed. We added some of that pasta sauce out of there. Now we're going heavy cream. We're just gonna keep slowly adding things and stirring down, trying to get our flavors together. So 1 cup of heavy cream. Probably the first and last time you'll see me measure something, but hey, I don't make vodka sauce that often, so trying to keep it within the realm of getting it to taste right. Just gonna slowly whisk this together until the flavors start coming. Then we're gonna add in some butter and some Parmesan cheese, and we'll be homeward bound. Sit. Wave. 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 Rosie, wave. Good girl. She's in here sneezing at the salt and pepper. But we've simmered. Time to add some butter. Going 2 tablespoons. We're gonna eyeball it, you know. Probably just the rest of this thing of butter, actually. This is terrible cameraman shit, so I am sorry for that. Now, last ingredient, Parmesan cheese. Want to go a healthy amount, about a 1/2 cup, which is right about there. I probably did a little bit more, but who doesn't love cheese? All right, now it's time to stir all this together, and then we'll have the final product after a little while. Just need to let all these flavors come together. Time to stir for probably 5-10 minutes. It's smelling good though. I wish y'all could smell this. It smells so good. Got our pasta ready, got our lobster ready. This is the final ingredient. Time to get plated. We got our fresh homemade vodka sauce. We got some pasta in both of these bowls. Time to run it. We're just gonna pour it. Oh yeah. Making a mess out here, but hey, that's what cleaning up is for. Sponges. There we go. That's a healthy amount, huh? Looking good. Looking good right there. All right, now, time to add the best part. Save the best for last. We're gonna go a healthy amount of lobster right there on the top of that bowl. And you know what? Just for good measure, we're gonna drizzle a little bit more of this on top because I love vodka sauce. There we go. Now that right there is a lobster vodka pasta. That is one good looking dish right there. Time to give it a run. Let's see. Gotta make sure that we get a piece of lobster. I don't even know, you probably can't see anything. All right, big old piece of lobster, piece of pasta, and plenty of vodka sauce. Whoa. I'm gonna eat this whole bowl in 5 seconds. That is so good. So good. You don't even need to add butter to the lobster because there's plenty in the pasta sauce. Oh yeah. That right there is gonna be 9.4 out of 10. Vodka squared night. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're hoping y'all are liking the videos. We're still enjoying making them, so we're gonna bring them to y'all every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. until we can't anymore, which I don't know when that'll be, because we're fishing, diving, hunting all the time. So long as y'all like watching, we're gonna keep making them. So tune in every Tuesday, 6 p.m. See y'all next week.